make sure I'm not missing anything here. Yeah, so you got one hole, or one 8mm is going to go right there. One of them will go right here, and then one's going to go right there. So we're going to put these two guys back on first. Kind of just put them on finger tight if you want to at first. And always remember to, if you have to, get behind that thing and check and watch where you're going in with that screw, because you got to remember there is a gasket behind this cover. You don't want to shred that. I'm going to do the rest of this part by hand because I do want to feel how tight I'm getting this thing on there, because this 12 volt is not going to be kind to a gasket. It's just going to want to put those screws on there tightly. So you kind of want to do this part by hand when you're putting these in there. You just want to start it off with that 12 volt impact, and just to kind of get them in there, and then do the rest by hand so that you can feel how tight up against that gasket that you're getting, and know when you need to stop. I say that's probably good enough. If not, we'll have to go back and retighten it. Put our last screw in there. Go back behind, double check everything. Make sure it's all good and tight. I think that's good enough. Okay, we're going to see this little guy right here sticking off. It's just going to connect. There's a tiny little hole on the top of this. Usually you want to put that on there before you put your cable or put your box back on. I did it backwards, so I'm try to see if I can sneak it in there without having any issues. Nope. Alright, you guys, so got that put back in there. Actually had to undo the screws again to angle the air filter holder to get this back on there. So that was my bad. But it shouldn't reflect that in the video here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a little bit of this up in here before we start it. Just going to give it a little bit of a boost. I already did spray some in with the spark plug. I'm going to leave the spark plug unplugged and go to pull this just to get it in there and going. Some of this stuff off here so I can get a good pull on it. But yeah, you don't want this starting right now, so keep your spark plug's going to be plugged in, but it's not going to be attached to the rubber boot. So that's just because you don't want that engine to actually start. You just want the compression, and you just want it kind of getting covered in on those cylinders in there. Alright, so that is that for now. What we're going to do is let that sit in there for a few minutes. Alright everybody, so this time, now that I've sat for a few minutes, I'm going to be putting more of this B-Laster into the air intake when I get this thing started. Now keep in mind I do not have any fuel in this tank, so it's going to be starting based solely on this. This is the part where you want to just kind of clean up things that are around it, so that you don't, if you have any issues, you don't have a bunch of stuff that you're tripping over. Because it's a rarity, but you can have issues with these things. And if you ever have a fire or anything, you don't want to be tripping over a bunch of stuff trying to go get an extinguisher. You should always have one around you in these moments, but I got plenty of them sitting around. I know where they're all at. Alrighty, so you just re-plug the boot back in. I may actually give that a little bit of a cleaning before I put it back on there. Be right back. I'm gonna do that actually. Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry about that wait. Product I'm going to be using for the spring for the connection of the boot and the spark plug there is a CRC QO'd electronic cleaner, and this is just meant for going in on wiring and things like that to clean out any corrosion or grease or debris that are in there. Really, it's not going to do much for me to put that on the spark plug, but to put it in the boot is fine. And yes, as I'm sure you guys have seen, I should be wearing gloves for this, but I'm not. Don't be like me. This stuff is a fast drying product. It will be doing its cleaning and its drying within about 15 to 20 seconds, or at least that's what the bottle says on it. And if you have any residual, you just obviously want to beat that out of there. Just gonna let that sit for a few seconds. There's quite a bit of a corrosive buildup in that elbow in there where it's making contact, and I think that's partly due to rust. This electronic cleaner will not clean out rust, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, there's quite a bit of rust buildup in there. So the problem I'm having with this machine is that it wants to start and then it wants to kind of just sputter off, and a few minutes it will shut itself down. And I think that most of that is coming from this spring not being strong enough on the throttle control, and it's just leaving it full choke and just letting it spill in there. And also it may be bad spark plug, bad boot. This over here so you guys can see it. We got a pop out of it. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is probably go get some fuel and put that in there. smells fine. Nice and filled with new stuff. We got oil on there now. Prime it up. And let's see what happens. So we're going to put this air filter back on here, and then we will continue working with the other maintenance on it. I might continue with the videos, or I might just leave it off with the cleaning and starting here. But yeah, it sounds like it's doing good. All that gray smoke you're seeing, that's from the belaster burning off, and that's just from spraying a good portion of it into where the spark plug is at to clean those cylinders, as well as into the carb area. Sounds like I said, I am pretty certain that the carb, after looking at it, was not the issue with this. I think it's the spring up there. Not a professional mechanic, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's the spring that isn't working properly. Alrighty. One more fire up just for good measure. We'll see where it's at. See if it does fire up. Alrighty, you guys, we're just going to let that run for just a few minutes over there. Get my tools and things cleaned up a bit. Sorry I had to step away from it so you could hear me. But I want to be able to let it run for a few minutes so that I know if it's going to cut itself off or not. I don't believe it is. I may have actually fixed the issue with doing that carb clean. But I still will go back and replace that spring at some point just because I'm selling this thing and I want to make sure that my customer is getting a good product. But yeah, I will let you guys know. If it shuts itself down, I'll include that in the video, and if it just keeps running, then I'll just include that in the video as well. Alrighty, everybody, I just wanted to let you know, been running it for a few minutes. It's running good, not shutting itself down, doesn't pop anymore. So the carb may have actually had some gunk in it, and I think doing that carb cleaning on it probably did it some good. I still want to replace that spring. I believe they call that a governor spring, but I don't know the technical name of it. But yeah, I still want to replace that. If anything, I'm going to clean it up, and I still want to get that fixed or at least tightened on there so that it can work properly, and customer has no issues with it, whoever decides to buy it. And I just want to make sure that they're getting a good product. I do have some cleanup and some painting and things to do on it just to get it in a nice, real fresh order. And I also will be selling this one with a brand new, larger beaver blade on it, so it's going to come with 2 beaver blades, and so somebody's going to be getting a really good deal on it. And I also did put a brand new air filter on there. I put new oil in it yesterday, new fuel in it today, and so it's pretty much just a spark plug in that spring, and it needs a good cleaning. And I'm going to be removing the rust off of it. As you can see, there is a little bit of a rust buildup that happens with the older stuff. I'm going to be removing that and doing some repainting with a heat-proof black paint, so that the stuff doesn't want to hold, or doesn't want to chip off anymore. So that's my project for today, one of them. And if you guys like it, I know it was kind of a long video, but I wanted to be extremely detailed in it, in the process. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and share for more cool content like this, and just general things, restoration of old stuff, and rebuilding things, lawn care, anything like that. Just kind of a do-it-yourself videos or anything like that. I'm just kind of that type of guy. Know a little bit about everything, but not enough to make a good workout out of it. Just enough to be able to help people. So, like, subscribe, and share, and I appreciate it. If this could get out there, like I said, I'm not paid by YouTube. I've said that in previous videos. I just do these videos just to help people out, and if they're a little bit nervous about getting into their own stuff, at least they can watch me get into mine, and they'll know what to do and what not to do. Alright, so enough wasting you guys' time. I'm pretty sure you got other videos you want to watch, so we're going to end this one. Thanks again.